Good morning. We just sat and did our practice session for an hour. So sometimes something very compelling comes up when we sit. And I'm wondering, what was your sit like today? What was the overall feeling or the anything get resolved that isn't too personal that you would want to share? What did you bear witness to? Yes.
Distractions.
Okay.
Just very distracted this morning. Lots of thoughts flying around of all the, different things going on, and just the distractions, right? And I had to keep telling myself that's exactly what these are, just distractions. Where am I right now? Take a breath.
Excellent. Yeah, sometimes when I sit, it's like that. And sometimes when I sit, it's like a breath of fresh air. I feel almost sort of transformed out of my busyness into a state of calm or peace. Anybody else?
That's where I was finally getting to in the second half. The first half was all the thoughts, the second half was more focused.
Yeah. And sometimes it's the reverse for me. The
Yeah.
first half is that way. Uh-huh. I guess that's why we say, it's our practice is the whole experience. So my body has been giving me a lot of trouble because of I did a lot of physical work this past week and things I wasn't used to doing. So my shoulders, my neck, my hips, my butt, all these places kind of. So what was interesting for me in my practice today was just paying attention to the body. And with each breath, just kind of being with it and then letting it go and recognizing that I'm holding on to this tension in places and just, being with it. And after a while, it sort of dissipates and becomes not there, so to speak. However, being not there, is that just our mind focusing on something else? This morning, when we first started, I could hear the coffee pot boom, 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 boil, boil, boil. And I thought, gee, I must have forgot to turn on our little noise machine that has this wonderful babbling brook with birds singing in the background. And then after we sat back down for our second sit, I realized, wait a minute, that's been playing the whole time. I was just focusing on this and not focusing on that, which brought me back to the body. What do we focus on? So sometimes we hold on to tension by focusing on the pain. One of the things early on in practice that you experience a lot is pain. And I think over time, that's one of the bigger lessons is, you're just focusing right now. What are you focusing on? So, like you said, I come back to the breath and focus on the breath, and the pain becomes less of an issue. And sometimes it just completely disappears into this state of peace without any attachment to it. It's just sort of there. And then all of a sudden I go, where did the pain go? And there it is. So I sometimes I spend a little too much time streaming. So sometimes when you sit, images of some TV show keep popping up. Or if you watch sports, I can imagine that happening too. Excuse me. Yeah.
Say if you're streaming, you just need a bear to pop out.
Very good. She remembered my story. Not everybody knows what she was referring to there, but it was a bear encounter when I was fly fishing.
Because he was
Yeah.
dreaming. Yeah.
I was, yeah. Okay.
Musicians say that if a teacher of mine went and saw Dan or the opera, or she went on a meditation, and she said it was a long meditation, week. She said like by day 4, that music had gone out of her head after sitting. It's just there all the time.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I thought of this morning was, we only sit for an hour, and sometimes it's just not enough, which made me think, God, maybe we should do a Saturday retreat here for, 5 hours or something to get a good day in. Freddie's all about it over here. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
I was contemplating, we sit, we ask ourselves, what is this? Focus on what's going on. And to ask the question is to achieve, asking the question is the thing. That's it, no more, no less. And I just happened to be reading earlier today about a poet. I don't know if anybody knows him, Dario. He's considered to be the most impactful poet in the Spanish language, but he's unknown pretty much outside of his language because he doesn't translate well. The reason why for that is technical. But what he said was, there was one line they had, and he said, the man that faces his inner sphinx is lost. Yeah. His inner sphinx, of course, the sphinx, the enigma.
Mm-hmm.
That statue that we don't know, is it smiling? What is it? We don't know. Consult your inner sphinx. It's lost. Yeah. And that just came back to me now. So.
Yeah. So that refers to letting go. Like, my holding on to what is this?
Yes.
Oh, pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So coming back to that question, you're right. That's really vital in a good practice and good sitting is remembering that. Yeah. Very good. One of my other observations about our sitting practice today was sometimes I sit down here to do the Heart Sutra and it just struggles. I can't seem to get into the right rhythm with it, or my voice gets really weird and I sort of like get caught up in, oh, I want to start this over again. This isn't where I want to be with this, right? So I struggle. Then you go through that. You're struggling with that while at the same time you're trying to repeat the Heart Sutra. Well, this morning it was effortless. And I love it when it's effortless. My first sit was kind of effortless this morning. My second sit, not so much. Even with the pain, interruptions. So effortlessness to me is kind of reminding me that I'm, in the flow. I'm not resisting anything. I'm just being present. And here it is. I think it's, something to keep in mind when we struggle with our practice, that there are times, even if it's just for a moment, where it's effortless. But that translates into affecting our whole experience because it's like super cleansing, just sort of wiping everything out. And then you bring it back up like the opera and just, regurgitate it over and over again. But that moment of complete letting go, which comes back to what Dan was saying, just asking the question, what is this? And that witnessing is just witnessing. It's not owning. It's not holding on to. It's not gathering it together and making something out of it. Our ordinary human experience often is just beating ourselves up. Doesn't have to be. Yeah.
I just, as I'm sitting there, to me, anytime I sit, it's a good sit. And no matter how much junk appears and stories start drifting out and recollections come about, I can see that that's what they are. And then hopefully I can get back to the breath, but I'm seeing all those other things for what they are.
Yeah.
And they're just thoughts that are just jamming through disruptions, whatever.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. It's always a good sit.
It's always a good thing.
You disagree, Dad?
It's true, even the bad ones.
All right.
Yeah.
I have nothing else. Thank you.
Okay.